Okay, so let's get started. So good evening, all friends. I'm Yifan Wu, Director of Programs and Chief of Staff, Chinese. So on behalf of MOCA and in partnership with Chinatown Partnership, Chinatown BID, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to tonight's book launching event with photographer and author Mengxi Wang. We are here to celebrate her remarkable publication, Chinatown 32 Sequences, an immersive exploration of New York's Chinatown and captures the hearts of its people and culture. Through vivid photography and storytelling, Chinatown 32 Sequences offers an intimate glimpse into the lives of both long-time residents and recent immigrants, showcasing the community's enduring legacy and constant change. From the story of master artisans to local entrepreneurs and cultural traditions, Mengxi's work brings to light the hidden gems and everyday heroes of Chinatown. Tonight's conversation will also feature insights from the book's designer and art director, Ziqing Chen. After the discussion, we invite you to join for a casual reception, an opportunity to connect, share stories, and foster new friendship. If you enjoy tonight's program, please consider supporting MOCA. Your generosity enables us to create more programs like this as we continue to uplifting communities. Donation can be made on our website, and we also accept cash, credit card, Venmo, and PayPal. And of course, please purchase the book. For tonight's $68, it's beautiful, designed and rendered, photographed. And Mengxi will also be signing the books during the reception. So for those actually joining us live, hello, feel free to submit questions actually during the discussion for the Q&A session. So this event is also being recorded for on-demand viewing on MOCA's YouTube channel. So now, before we actually dive into the conversation, so let me introduce our guest speakers. So Mengxi Wang is a storyteller and photographer whose background as a news reporter has fostered a deep curiosity for individual narratives within everyday life. Her work emphasizes narrative storytelling, often incorporating dramatic elements and a direct cinematic approach. Wang is dedicated to perfecting her craft, continuously refining her narratives through self-critique and iteration to create compelling and authentic stories. Ziqing Chen, born and raised in Guangdong, is a multidisciplinary designer and landscape architect based in New York City. She graduated from the Roland Island School of Design. Ziqing brings a contemporary perspective to her designs, emphasizing the nuances of evolving Chinese traditions with a keen eye for photography. She is dedicated to integrating visual storytelling in her design projects across cultural and commercial sectors. Ziqing has also launched publishing imprints in collaboration with independent artists and local brands, providing art direction for their works. Mengxi will now also share an overview of her journey creating the 32 sequences, including her inspiration, key scenes, and the process behind capturing these powerful stories. Let's welcome Mengxi. Let's welcome Mengxi to give us a presentation about the overview.
So, okay. Thank you for everyone coming to my book launch, Chinatown 32 Sequences. So let me start with a self-introduction. My name is Mengxi. I am a documentary filmmaker and the author of this photo book. And I grew up in Lanzhou, which is a city in north China. And later I went to Japan to study journalism. And I spent several years in Japan as a news reporter. So after college in 2022, I moved to New York City. So I have been here almost 2 years. So in the past 2 years, I spent my first year in New York Film Academy to learn how to make documentary filmmaking while exploring Chinatown and get to know more in the community here. So my favorite film in New York Film Academy is my short film called Chinatown Syndrome. So the next year, I feel like I need to extend my short film into a feature length film. So that's why I came back to the city again. And that's what inspired me to make this book at the same time. So well, let's go through this book briefly. So for this book, I have picked 32 different characters who, connected to Chinatown, work here, live here. And then this book has 5 chapters, each with a different theme. Starting with the 人间烟火气, the human touch, and the 7th chapter, 魔幻现实主义, magical realism. Third one, 书写抗争的脚本, write the script of the resistance. The 4th chapter, 谁在打破围墙, who is breaking down the wall. And the last one, about migration and future, 迁徙与未来. So I hope when you open the book, it feels like you walk into a gallery and then you can see different portraits in the gallery and then you can find a different story behind the face. Well, it really doesn't matter who can represent our Chinatown because each person has their own story, their own experience, their individual person. So there is no typical Chinese. This is something I really feel like is greatly lacking in Asian storytelling. So in the first chapter, you will let's imagine as a visitor when I first came to New York, when I walked on the Wall Street, and I was visitor walk through Chinatown, and I just noticed, those shop owner, tailor, some other. Well, let me talk about one story about this tailor, as you can see, who is one of the characters in my book. And actually, Rosa is my friend, and she's here today. And she told me, oh, there is a tailor who is pretty famous in New York City, and she is working in East Broadway Mall underground. The location is perfect for filming. And then I got there. I was shocked because the whole building is empty and everything looks so sad. But she was there by herself, and she even didn't have enough time to talk to me because she has to focus on altering clothes. She has to, make money for living. Well, making friends with her takes some time, but finally, the more I get to know her life, her story, and the more I understand her life. She has a family here. She has a daughter. Has a great grandson here, and well, and actually, and also I got to know she has a great passion on fashion. One day she invited me to her place, and then she brought us 2 big boxes of fancy brand clothes. And then, she just tried on piece by piece. Mengxi, is it good? Am I pretty? Am I beautiful? And that moment I was so moved by this story, by her life. Yeah, so I was thinking, even she has bad temper. Sometimes she yell at me, but I'm still curious about why she is still there. Was she so determined about it? That's I think that's the source for why I continue to make a story about her. And you know, that's for this fashion collection, it's her hobby, but for me, I think I'm similar as the tailor, because I'm doing the same thing. I am collecting story, watching the streets, you know, just to pick up a lot of story from the street. So, well, I believe everyone in Chinatown has different story, and I kept exploring. And then one day, I met Master Yao Hua at Hawang Temple. He's here today, and I asked, well, he is a monk in Hawang Temple, and I asked Yao Hua, "Have you ever had any worries?" He said, "Of course. I'm waiting for my green cards for a long time. Many monks have applied for multiple times, only to be rejected. It's so hard." That I asked him, "What would you do?" And then he said, this is a Chinese language. 因上努力，果上随缘. It can translate to be work hard for your cause, and as for the results, let them follow their natural course. So the monks, like all immigrants chasing American dream, well, we have to face the same initial challenge, the green card. Yeah. And the other day, I was walking through Columbus Park, and I saw a fortune teller sitting at the corner of the Columbus Park. And she asked me, "Do you want to have a palm reading?" And I said, "No, I don't believe in that. Then she said, "Are you Christian?" And I even didn't know how to answer the question. And then she said, "Well, it's good. You're Christian. That matter." And she said, "We all want things to stay healthy. And you go to your church. I have my temple. I go to my temple." So at that moment, I feel like, well, I can pick up a lot of story and philosophy just right on the streets. So after that, every time I pass by, I will see her over there. And one day I asked her, "Can I take a photo of you? Can you take off your mask?" You know, because she always have mask all time. I never seen her face before. But as a rule, if you want to do a portrait of someone, to ask them to take off the mask. Then she said, "No, because no, I don't want. God forbid me removing it." Well, so I feel like well, if when I was a reporter doing news stuff, you know, if I do a portrait somewhere with a mask, yeah, I will be yelled at by my by my leader. But this is a like independent story. I feel like I should respect the face, even though I'm someone without any particular beliefs. So she became the only one in my 32 portraits who wears a mask. Yes, I feel like there is so much surreal magical stuff happening in Chinatown. That's why I finished my second chapter, magical realism. All other chapter about this topic. In the third chapter, there is a community member who is his name is Jackie. Someone knows he protested against the new shelters in Chinatown. And the second lady, Wendy Lee, she is the first new immigrant lady elected as a governor. And Raymond, she is auxiliary professor officer. He's not here today. He's in Taiwan, I guess. Yeah. So and then Dr. Wu, yeah, our traditional Chinese medical doctor is here today. So each of them is doing their part, making up our community. So in my fourth chapter, who is breaking down the wall, I tell the story of our artists, mostly street artists. So in the middle of the page is a young graffiti guy, and because he is doing something illegal, so I don't want to read his face and a name, so it's almost story about, but this is still real story about he. And the right girl is Tao. She is a muralist trying to keep the war cleaning, because they are like fighting each other with the guy and the muralist. And the guy behind over the right side, he is Ben. He is a interesting guy. With my friend. He usually do the drone photo for those mural for this muralist. Yeah, everyone knows in New York City it's illegal to do a drone, but still can do that. And well, Xiao Feixia is the superstar, isn't he? Was here today. Oh, yeah. This would be here actually. Students in the town have to event. I'll have to, yeah. Yeah, because he always sing a song on the streets, and the only thing Cantonese song. So it's really moved to me. That's why I picked in my room. And Henry is here today. Okay, he is a detective novelist. He has series, novel series, and selling in You and Me. Yeah, that's the story about he. Well, all they have their own way of energizing this community. This is the final chapter, migration and the future. So I explore the future of Chinatown through stories of home and migration. Um, Joe, he is a veteran. I think he is here today. Um, uh, okay, who has never, okay, Joe has been here almost all his life. So I went to his, apartment. I saw the tenement building, what it's like. So I really love the way he told the story. I feel so familiar and wow. And then this is my friend told me he is a Japanese boy, and he is here at believe. And his story is very interesting. He actually working in a Japanese company, and then one day he came to New York for work, but just feel like this city is fantastic, and he caught his leader, and I want to take my job. The moment, and then he quit, and then he became homeless. So he living like 3 months homeless life right on the Canal Street. That's his story. But now he has married, has a pretty beautiful apartment. That's life. And Rosie, and she's my best friend and working in Chinatown BID. I believe most of you know this lovely girl. And she's graduated from Yale University, and I really want to do a research about migration and Chinatown. So and Lao Ma, he is the only one who not directly connected to Chinatown because he journeyed from Mexico to South American to this city, New York City, for chasing freedom or American dream. Now she lives in Flushing, which is another Chinatown. Well, but my last character, Professor Guest, he actually argued with me because he doesn't think Chinatown is well, he doesn't think Flushing is a Chinatown. He thinks Flushing is a middle class Asian town. Well, I do like his opinion, but it's not like it doesn't mean I agree with him. Even raised the question of whether Chinatown may eventually disappear. So we also put this in my book. And okay, so that's the character Wellington. Actually, for the first character in my book, first page. So well, actually 2 years ago, Wellington is also literally the first person I met in Australia. Because I saw a guy looks like a Japanese, and I because I couldn't speak perfect English, and even now I couldn't speak perfect English. And that time I speak in Japanese and asked here in Japanese. And then I was so lucky to know such an amazing community leader. So he introduced me a lot of the community member to help me to finish my film. So when I began working on this book, and I asked Wellington a question: how can I capture the real Chinatown? And he said, you might not be able to see the real Chinatown because it's also layered. It's a mystery unless you can take it apart and piece it back together and then ask yourself, what does it truly mean? So for your question, I think this book is my answer. Okay, so this is the outline of the 5 chapter. So I hope this links inspire you to see each person and place with fresh feels. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you so much. Well, so actually, before we dive into the book, actually, I do want to give opportunity to Ziqing to maybe, for you to also speak to our audience, introduce yourself, and, how was the experience actually collaborating with Ziqing?
Hi everyone, I'm Ziqing. I'm a designer and a landscape architect in New York City. I grew up in Guangdong, China, and then I moved to the US in 2014 and stayed in Rhode Island for 3 years. In 2017, I moved to New York. And in 2023, I met Mengxi because I was helping her with the Cantonese translation for her documentary. And
for the fortune teller, because I could understand what she's
and also that allowed me to see her work first, and it was really interesting for me because I feel she creatively captured a lot of Chinese traditions that are often overlooked in modern China. And so she kind of inspired me to embrace my culture, my own culture more, and try to have more contemporary perspective to the evolving traditions. And when she invited me to collaborate on working on this book, I was surprised and also honored. And here we are, the 4 months with this book.
So, but then, right, so as you kind of, in terms of the collaborative process, right, because both of you are, creatives, right, photographers in your own right. As you, I think during our initial conversation, I would talk about book cover, right? That's usually like the first thing you see in a book, right? So, and then we talk about, right, like, picking up, the photo, right, the color, lots of, yeah, design. Can you maybe just walk through in terms of, that sort of the creative process?
Yeah, sure.
Want me to picture
Oh,
the cover?
oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, I can do it.
By the way, this is a picture of my I grew up because her work it's like inspired me to look back to my own culture, and here's where I grew up, and I see a lot of familiar memories through her work. just to share. So here are all the revisions of the book.
I know they're crazy.
First of all, the whole concept of the book is through Mengxi's eyes. What does she see in Chinatown? And also, it's about a book about individuals. So we initially settled on the title, "Who's in China?" So you can see from the first real version of it. But gradually we realized that it accurately captured the vision of the book, because you cannot capture every individual in China. And I don't think that was your intent either.
Can I tell Epson?
Sure.
Because one time my actor Ziqing asked me to invite all my characters together to take photo at the cover, and I said that's impossible, but maybe today we can do that.
And then so for the first few revisions, we were doing the Who's in Chinatown version, but obviously we realized that okay, it's not about that. And then Mengxi introduced me filmmaking term sequence, which refers to a series of scenes that together form a narrative. And we just felt, oh, that perfectly represents the book's theme. So, and ultimately, we included 32 characters into this book that leads to the book title, Chinatown 32 Sequences. And in terms of the cover photo, so at the beginning, we were trying to put together different faces on the cover, but we also realized that we don't want to specify specific individual, because it's not about that. So eventually we feature Mengxi's eyes as a lens to invite readers to explore her unique perspective to Chinatown.
Yeah, so at the beginning, we feel like we believe we want to make it too complicated because it looks cool, but finally we figure out simple is always cool.
And also, right, that's why you describe yourself as stories scavenger. Scavenger, right? So then, so kind of through your, kind of finding, right? 填故事. Yeah. One on one. So maybe now is the moment, I guess, we're returning to the inner page of the book, the stories. So really, my first question to you is, so what drew you specifically to Chinatown? Like as a subject for this book. I think you briefly, talk about it, right, in your introduction. And maybe like why?
Yeah, because I did mention that I have been 10 years in Japan, and but in Tokyo, this my other city, and it's totally different from New York City because Japanese culture is too strong to um that you as a foreigner you can't. Sometimes I just feel like I have to pretend Japanese being there. It sounds weird, but everyone who lives in Japan know that's our principle. If you want to get a job in TV corporation, especially we do the interview with Japanese people, so we have to speak perfect fluent Japanese and pretend we're very polite. That's kind of at the very beginning, I don't think that's a wrong thing or right, something I even didn't think about what is my identity. So until I came to New York, the first time I saw everyone speak different accents, and that first time I can like speak, I couldn't speak like good English that's make me shameful before, but New York City changed my mind. Well, this is my first time to know that you can use a language of kind of freedom. That's the one thing. And the other, when I first time came to Chinatown, I feel, you know, I want to say a words, the time, frozen time. I feel like this is what I experienced when I was 5 or 6 years old. When you pass by a barber shop, you can smell the smelling very familiar for me. I came from Lanzhou, kind of middle city in middle of China, and it's changed. It's China is changing every day. When I go out of I spent my college in Suzhou, which is very close to Shanghai. It's a big city, and when I go back every time, one year go back to hometown, I feel it's changed. So all my favorite store, restaurant disappeared. China is changing every day, but here I just kind of put some the memories in my mind, so that what I feel like I need to do something here.
And I think even reading through the book, right? I think you're very intentional about selecting or capturing the individual stories, instead of being kind of cliche or surface level or being kind of stereotypes, right? So I guess just kind of can you also tell us more like how did you find and select the people featured in the book? So always about their kind of professions or stories that really sparks your curiosities.
Yeah, because I was a news reporter before, and everyone we have to, the long day meeting, we have to propose a character as a news character. We have to do a typical character. That's what I really think about. Because if you do mass media, and then you have to find someone can present represent something. But if you want to do independent, if you want to be an artist, then you have to have your own perspective. That's what I feel like I need to change my perspective. And also in Chinatown, as I come from mainland China, and I don't know where I should stand by the idea or Taiwan. I don't want, stand something and pick someone to be my character. So I just only have one rule for my select criterion, which is my curiosity. What I'm really curious about. I really want to know your story. So and I got to know more and more folks in our community, and I can just pick some interesting stories. Yeah.
I think and I think as you're reading through, I think this kind of the spontaneous approach, right? That
Yes.
just, it's because even lots of them even sometimes just either not just through introduction, but you met them on the streets, right? Or even just through random, but then just as you always walk on the street and then you met them and then you wanted to kind of make that connection and feel really able to allow you to capture something that's less intentional because you're not like, okay, I need to find all these people to fit this criteria, right? Really allow you to give you freedom. You actually are able to capture all those 32, including yourself, right? Very unique and diverse stories. But among these 32 stories, I'm curious, do you have a favorite one? Or do you have, I'm sure people have asked you before or something you like to, reflect.
I don't want to answer because if I pick anyone, then I would first. But I do want to share a story. It's like the entire story because I don't want to tell the detail about the story book. But he is a magician. He's here today, and why I want to tell his story because at the very beginning I didn't want to write a story about a magician because I don't feel like any connection. He just he works in Chinatown, but his passion is all about magician, and I don't feel like Chinese community connect tightly with Caucasian. And but you know, I just we just become friends. Sometimes we hang out, drinks, and then as you know, as so that's what I said. If you want to explore more story, you have to become friends. And then the more I got to know about his story, and then more surprise I got. So that's enough for support long story. So that's the one of my favorite.
It's also one of my favorite too. I mean, I wanted to say the crow, but then you really have to buy the book to read, very fascinating story.
It's also one of my favorites.
His name is Malak.
Okay, so I think all of us, right, as we would keep talking about, right, 32 sequences, like the number 32, right, keep coming up. Yeah. Why 32? I know it's not a random number. There's a reason behind it, but then can you just share with the audience?
It's random number.
Yeah, I know that, but then you end kind of numbers.
Yeah,
So why not 34, 36, 28?
Yeah, as well, a lot of the students asking this question. So as you have seen, we didn't figure out what's the title for the book, so we think about that many times. And well, one day I just feel like because I wanted to try my best to keep the book so in a spontaneous way, even the title. So I make another room for my book. I will count from the first character I met. Actually, it's Wellington, and the last one we have to because we have to have a deadline to the printing company. So it's 32. So we did the title. That's the last minute.
So and
Yeah, so
as you can
like
see,
2 years and 2 years here, and that's the whole story I can make. Yeah.
Right. So then,
That's
so
it.
let's say if you end it right, 33, 31, but then you kind of give yourself the
My deadline.
yeah. Realistic reason.
Yes.
Yeah. Good. I think I think you already touched upon this, but I kind of want to just, maybe just ask a little bit more. And then, because you described, right, kind of this New York City as a rule-breaking, right, city, allow you of this rule-breaking freedom mindset, right? So, I think while in Japan, right, when you like follow the rules, follow the guidance. So how has this sort of living in New York last sort of the rule-breaking mindset have kind of impact you in terms of, your own storytelling and like your creativity?
I think I was rule following person before because when I first came here, I noticed everyone when there's want to wait the traffic lights, the red lighting. I was very confused, which is New York is legal or illegal. I don't know because I'm like Japanese brain at that time. I don't know which side is right or wrong. So that was the first thing I got to know. In this city, everyone is breaking the rule, and then saw a lot of graffiti in Chinatown, out of the city, and well, sometimes I would go graffiti is cool, but sometimes I would still feel like it's illegal. It's why you just ruin their house. This is like kind of bad thing. At first, that's very beginning. I thought about, and then even I went to New York Film Academy, and my teacher, they told you how to break the rule. I like my students breaking the rule or something, because that's very very different from Japanese culture. Because in Japan, as I mentioned, that we have to pretend to be a Japanese because everyone I hope that you could be safe. They like multiple collective same everyone is same color. I can do kung fu poses when I was in Japan.
you are not doing it now.
Yeah. Oh well.
Flexible,
So So for this book, we know our us with book. So I think when I start to make the book, I will make my own rules, as I mentioned, some rules. You have to make your own rule, and then you have to break your own. It's my rule. That's my that's my rule.
As you mentioned, obviously, two books are structured, right? Two chapters, right? And then, but you do encourage readers to break the rule to really just to go into any pages, any chapter, doesn't have to from the first page to the last. And can you also just kind of tell us more about that sort of process?
Oh, actually, this is a part it's related to how we work together. Because actually, I spent 2 years, but when we literally start working on editing and put that together, it's just like 3 months ago or 4 months ago.
And at the beginning, we didn't really have.
Yeah, we have a.
collect.
I just I have a lot of character randomly and some for my film and some just a picture and some for my friends. I even didn't film that. And we started this project and she asked me, how do you wanna do the order of the
How to structure the book.
and I said, don't worry about this.
Yeah, that's
Because it's not the right time to put that together, but not the right time to let you think about what is your goal, what is your order for the chapters. Because at that moment, you even couldn't figure out what is but I have a sense of who is the one of the magic realism, who is one of the artist part. This is a line in my mind, but I did, but didn't have it. Clear.
Did you, yeah, so how, as you were kind of designing the book, what is the book, right? So how do those visual design elements maybe kind of to support this narrative flow, right? And it was, yeah, right, as you're reading through it, there is kind of a cooking or even similarity, but of course, right, it's sort of still this very fluid, sort of loose connections, right, between those individuals. Yeah.
Yeah, so in the beginning, the thing is, I'm more into photography. I'm not too familiar with filmmaking, so I always try to capture the perfect moment of everything. And when I was starting making this book, I tried to structure, and it's a very different approach. What Moses tried, because for her it's kind of random. I know it's not random, but it seemed random to me because I don't have a structure. Then how can I put things in? And she told me, okay, don't worry about that. Just try to make it, and then you will find your own clue to connect. So after we played out for maybe 15 or 12 people, we started to look back. Like, do they have any connections? And
Yeah, because at the very beginning, we always put the room, have the book together because I thought, okay, I should put like uh, even persons in each chapters. Like chapter one, I should put like 5%. Chapter five. That looks perfect. And then I didn't have enough people for like chapter one or let's say chapter three, and then I had to find a similar character to just put in my chapter three. It just sounds like ridiculous for me. So I will give up. Why we have to keep like every chapter even that sounds like us, New York.
yeah, so we broke that rule as well. Yeah, I mean, in the end, we broke that rule. I was telling her, yes, in the beginning, I was trying to structure the book, and she told me don't worry about it. And then at the end, she was trying to see if do we have enough people in this chapter, and I was like, why do you wanna just make even people in the chapter just let it be? And I broke the rule in the end. And together, I think it's a good balance between us. And also I adapt more more spontaneous perspective in my work as well.
It's great. And then as you also you can see, I mean, this is a kind of a photojournalist kind of series, right? But then of course, as you look through the layout, it's fascinating, right? Kind of has a very specific aesthetic to it. But then also you're telling these authentic stories. So because just share a little bit with you about, how do you also balance aesthetic time with, authenticity? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good, very interesting question because in the beginning, as I said, I want everything to be perfect. And I look over, oh, I think this the light condition this photo is not good. They change one. It's just like it's about the story. It's not about the light.
Yeah,
It's not
because storytelling and design always fight. Yeah, always fight together. So you have to, just try to balance.
Yeah, we fought all the
And
time.
I'm in charge of the storytelling. So I do, living auditing in the story, the order of the story, because I use multiple photos in each story, and she in charge of the design, how put them together looks cool.
Yeah,
So,
so we aim to infuse the documentary style into the book's design. That's why in most pages we feature the black background with white text to have to create that kind of atmosphere. And then we alternate just moving images and some freeze frames. So the moving image can advance the story. But for those images, you sometimes it's not perfect all the time. But it's about if you read through it, you feel you are watching a movie. So to mimic that kind of experience, watching a movie, we it this way. And sometimes you see some freeze frames to highlight some keynotes.
Like collage or even reenactments, right, of some certain elements. Yeah, it's very yeah, cinematic. I do want to leave some time for Q&A, but then I'm going to ask maybe questions. I know, right, kind of in the book, you kind of when you introduce yourself, you said, right, the reason you came to New York is for a little bit of soul searching, because you're feeling you are losing of yourself or even your identity, or I guess, yeah. Do you feel even after 2 years spending time in New York, have you reclaimed lost parts of yourself? Have you found yourself?
yes, I even was thinking about because my ticket to Japan is next month 11th. So I have to leave this country, this city, and I was thinking maybe I can change my idea. I can change my mind and just live in New York. Why not? Well, but anyway, I think right now, even I go back to Japan, I will live as a Chinese, not pretend to be a Japanese. That's what I eventually find myself. I think the book helps.
Well, what about you, Ziqing? Just working on the book, yeah, has it allowed you to even discover something? Yeah.
I think so. So in the era I grew up with the rapidly developing environment, I often overlook traditions in favor of technology. And I'm not saying I don't want to be Chinese. I am Chinese. I'm really hardcore Chinese. Yeah, but it's just the I mean the some other people might think Chinese in a different way. And I mean, But the thing is, I don't care about that. But I wanna convey my perspective to people. Even if you see a Chinese person, it can be different. It can be me, it can be her, it can be everyone. So I think I find I'm more determined to continue in this way after this project.
I think that's why I feel these books, will be resonating with a lot of us because, right, I think, a lot of, even for kind of the new immigrants, a lot of us coming, searching for an identity, chasing the American dream. But then I think sort of during that journey, right, a lot of people feel that we are always trying to fit in, right? But then by fitting in, we're actually giving up of ourselves that we were so critical, right? Our cultural, pride, heritage. But then I do feel, as you said, right, the scavenger, right, kind of as you collect this individual story, even as I'm reading through it, I'm also recollecting. I do feel to some extent, even the readers, right, also reclaiming, part of the self that they feel that they might have lost, whether it be just due to the everyday life, right? You mentioned different students through their eyes. So I do feel if you haven't really highly encouraged, right, it's really very personal sort of journey when I was resonating. Yeah, so yes, very disputed. Let's categorize that. And then so I know. So then, but yeah, you mentioned right, you will be by now you have plans to move back to Japan, right? But then, yeah, what's
No
next?
matter where I am, I'm Chinese. That's what I believe.
Perfect. Well, so I do want to leave some time for the audience. So then, if you do have a question, please feel free to raise your hand. Yeah, and then we'll give the mic to you. And then, please speak to the mic so that our online audience can hear you.
Well, I actually had a question about the cover design, right? So I wanted to ask, because I noticed, like you mentioned, that you put your eyes, which I thought was really creative and unique. But regarding the texture of the cover per se, I know you mentioned and discussed a few months ago about that. Where did you decide to go with that? And where was your vision regarding that, like the paper texture and the fabric, the material?
I think that's a very simple question regarding the technical part because it's not something deep behind it. So red is actually her least favorite color.
Because fortune teller tells me green is your color, not red.
Yeah, I like that. And I was telling her, yeah, we can use a very stereotypical color for a book about Chinatown. I don't have any, I think it's good. But the only thing is, if I use red color, I don't want it to be reflective. So I want it to be completely matte. That's why and then we tested with paper printing, and it didn't reach that effect. So eventually we were like, okay, let's use well, if you touch the book, and if you look at it, you see no reflection. And then in terms of the eyes, well, I want to create the feeling of you are looking through, first of all, mouth.
We want to highlight observation.
Yeah, so that has a different texture from the rest of the cover. And then yeah, and just another color for the title itself to make it pop up.
Any other questions? Okay.
Hi, first of all, thank you so much for sharing your work with us. It's really fascinating and powerful. Yeah, and so as someone who also have a job, I'm really curious about like how you gain trust from those characters. I know you kind of talk about like starting with immigrants, but I'm wondering, did you tell them like, oh, I'm working on this book when you first met, or you kind of wait till a better time for it? And also like, how long did it take to really like make them feel comfortable to being like shot on camera and all those kind of things?
Okay. So in terms of your question, I think case by case, because sometimes, because Warrington, Rosie, they already are my friends, and they like even like don't need to tell them, oh, I'm doing a book, because most of the characters are already my friends, but some are like like the George Wendy Lee, because I know she is kind of like famous because she is the first new immigrants lady elected as the judge. And it's for me, I'm curious about how can she do it, because she also did her college in mainland China, and now she is judge in New York City. That sounds like a fantasy for me. So I will ask her, can I have a chance to make your story in my book? And even the first time we met in Memphis, and I don't feel like I have a chance, because George always looks very strict and serious. I don't feel like she likes my story. I don't feel like she care about storytelling. But I still try to, explore the like the different side, I'm kind of can make like friends with like different type of person. So even George, even she is we still can have a good communication. And then I got the chance, and even I got the very well the great chance that I can when I went into the court to get the photo, because basically there's no any chance that you're handling court. So that's what I did my way. And is that enough for your question, or
Also, one fun fact. So I was in her documentary as well, but when she was filming me, I was like, don't film me. Just and even she asked me, oh, do you wanna just have a photo and put in the book? I was like, no. So that means yeah, sometimes you don't get it.
Yeah, and sometimes I feel like especially Asian people, they say the opposite words, because like monks Yao Hua, master, actually until today, he never allowed me to film him, but I have some of his pictures. Have the information and advice of him, but I know even I film him, he will be here today.
Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. For me, the story that resonates with me the most is the tailor, because always go to the tailors to do my vintage clothes. I remember once a time I got a really beautiful dress and Northern silk vintage dress, but the sleeves just too big. So I went to the tailor, and after that, when we went to get my clothes back, I was shocked because it's really a clean cut of the whole the silk, but she kind of made the sleeves, because you were thinking, oh, she didn't want to remove all the fabric away. She wanted to keep everything. That, oh, it's really comfortable. You really enjoy it. It's like you try to sharp, but later I just really admire the kind of confidence. Also the pursuit of beauty, like the combination of the really technical parts with her sense of beauty. So after hearing you sharing the story, what I found the most beautiful is we two strangers, we are connected by a ordinary person, right? We are not connected by a celebrity or by some dramatic stories. Instead, we are connected by a team who just did her everyday living, everyday work for living. So my question is, do you ever consider making it a living memorial or it's an open narrative? Because all of us may have encountered such kind of ordinary people or in Chinatown. We can kind of share our stories on the website or there's an open resource because we all know Chinatown is being gentrified. It's getting just almost a lot of beautiful things have been almost been demolished or something. Yeah. So is it possible you think that could be like the narrative, like who documented it could be a way to archive it?
To be open with, sorry, I don't really know what do you mean.
Well,
To
like
open-
for example, you know, this space has been designed by Marilyn before, and she has kind of a website called "What Is Missing." That's kind of a website documents the missing species, and she actually did all her documentary of the other species. And later on, she kind of encouraged the public to upload their own data to the website to show that the whole all the world people are connected by their consciousness, by their care for the ecology. So I was thinking probably that would be also very wonderful if we can make something similar to that, like we archive the most important beautiful things in Chinatown or something. Yeah.
Actually, that,
Yeah.
actually that's a good idea. That's why actually I am a filmmaker. So my main project is finish the documentary about Chinatown.
Yeah.
And well, I'm still working on it. And but for you mentioned, we have to save as a archive, right? So before that, I did the here, and also we want to, you know, if we put our book here, and then it's always open for everyone.
Yeah.
Is that yeah. So and also MOCA is for archive.
Well, I think she also means like, would you start like a physical database of, you know, everyday stories, something, because so then you can go beyond 32, right? Sequences can be
Yeah.
320, 3,200, 32,000, you know, 3 million, you know, yeah, you know, stories, but then people can upload, you know, yeah, themselves. So open source.
We will talk. We will talk about that with MOCA.
Yeah.
Build a database. Yeah.
Collecting, right, the everyday story, oral history. That's what we do actually. Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, we do oral history, but then can continue to do more sort of the everyday. Yeah. Heroes.
Good idea.
I think the right answer would be to first buy the book, read the book, and then we'll make it an open source. But now I have a question for saying, where exactly on the server this book is saved?
Do you know that's on the server? By the way, this is my boss. And my main job is the landscape architecture.
Thanks for the sharing. I'm just curious because you almost invite all the characters in your book to here today. I'm just wondering how they build themselves, like their relationship with themselves in the book. Like, do they build?
I can't really hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me now? I'm just curious how they build themselves. Like the relationship between themselves and your book. That they regard it as a other person.
Structure.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
they can
maybe
share
they know
some-
each other, or maybe they do not. So I didn't build any relationship with this character. It's totally separate individual. That's for me, but well, Wellington is boss, Rose is boss, and you know, and well, they work with Yifan Temple. This is community, so I guess they know each other. Maybe
Yes, they are. here, maybe they can share a little bit. So,
Share what?
You all almost tell the story of your perspective, maybe the designer's perspective. Just wondering how the law will build themselves. How they maybe rate your storytelling from their perspective, like whether they tell the entire story or maybe you just specific part of that.
Their reaction for my story,
Yes.
well, I don't think they know the story of the book, so that's why this is today's book launch. I think most of them haven't know the story. Well, that's why I mentioned out of them are my friends, so that we have a trust. That's the secret why I can do the book.
We could have like a feedback session, as they read your book and then like who can click some.
First of all, congratulations. That's really impressive. And since you already mentioned that you're also working on a documentary, how is that going to be different from this? And what's your plan?
Yeah. So actually, there is another secret about my film and the book, because I mentioned my main project is the film, the documentary film, and I couldn't put everyone in a film because it's always between 90 minutes, 120 minutes. So I try to make a bigger database at the book, and then I highlight some part of the character in the book, but in my main documentary, I believe the story will be like richer. The story is traumatic, is very different from the book, because there are two types of the. Yeah, so I hope my readers, my audience will open the book with taking some coffee in sunny day afternoon. That's what I imagine.
Also, in the interest of time, maybe I will take a look and see if they will have any questions from the virtual audience. Maybe we can take one or two. Actually, we're good. But then, so yeah. So, no, we do have, a decent amount of people. I think it was very fascinating with the talk. Then I know, Mengxi, you wanted to sort of some closing remarks, that you want to share with us. Yeah, if you like to, and then also maybe you can also hear from you Ziqing, as well. Yeah.
So can we have Mo Hui and Li Shu come to the stage? We're the planning committee for this launch party. Shu will be serving you her amazing, wonderful cocktail words. So we're the planning committee for the launch of the Chinatown 32 sequences, and thank you for attending the launch party here. Before we move on to the reception party, we would like to make an appreciation announcement. Firstly, we want to say thank you to MOCA, to Yifan, to Michael, and all the stuff. And thank you so much. And thank you for coming. We cannot possibly find a better moderator than you.
Thank you.
Well, we also want to thank Chinatown BID and Chinatown Partnership and Our Culture for marketing and promotion support. We also want to thank Taiwan Cloth Shop House, Wucheng Haoweidao, Silk Road Cafe, Simple Cafe, Tali Salon, Jiali Meifa Wu, Morning Coffee Roaster for hosting our posters in their stores. Now we would like to say thank you for our liquor sponsor, Snow Beer, and our drink sponsor from the gate. We also want to thank Eleanor Teen, who was the owner of Teen Sleep Shop, who donated the cups and plates to us. We want to thank the Chinatown BID staff, Brittany and Wen Chen, and me for sponsoring our research. We're going to continue on this debate, really hopefully enjoy it. Last but not the least, we want to thank you, our audience, for coming here and spend your time with us. Independent publishing isn't easy. and your support means the world to us. We thank you so much and please enjoy the party.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we give a round of applause for our speakers, the planning committee.
Want to say a few words, Tony? But Mengxi does have a question to you.
Okay, so I'm next. Okay, so this is you. As I mentioned, you asked me a question. You should put them together and ask yourself what does it truly means. So this is my answer for you, my gift for you. And do you think right or not?
I am so inspired. Truth be told, I up with her when we were doing the fashion show on Doyle Street. And here was a little filmmaker coming up to me and just say, "Can I talk to you?" And we hit it off instantly. And the reason why she has taken this journey to the group level, because I always like to use the word of Jack Nicholson for background analogy when you want to describe Chinatown, which is that it is Chinatown after all, right? Because meaning that it's so hard to understand it, and it's so multi-layered. And I hope you're inspired tonight. I hope you buy her book. Good for you. This is just think about the simple 32 stories. And as I have to thank MOCA for hosting it. Imagine I had 23,000 in the core Chinatown, just on Chinese alone, and 40,000, and then the hundreds of thousands the story. And each one of you of the story can inspire you, and I'm really, really proud of her. And it's about about breaking rules, about people's sons. Originally the earthquake of San Francisco, we have shape makers. 1906, right? Or we broke the rule in 1882, the transaction. So you can see the migration, the pattern. And next Tuesday is November election and you don't get it. You don't understand how important migration it is to this country in the future. So our things come full cycle, and that's why I'm inspired by all that you have done, as well as MOCA's recording the stories. Right? We are on this earth for a very short time. We pass on, taking all that we have hard learned and into the grave. We don't share. And so these are the perpetuators. So I love your open source idea. And actually, if truth be told, there's another lady working on the Chinatown building story, as well as other films. And then there's a book coming up, and as well as plaques on the buildings that will be announced with the DRI revitalization. So there are many more things to do, and there are a lot of people knows a lot of it, like Colin. There's a lot more stories to be told, and they're multi-layered, they're multifaceted, and they're below the surface. And so I implore you to come back more often, because it's a fascinating. That's what keeps me interesting. But I'm very proud of this lady and the whole team, and congratulations. Thank you so much.
So can we, I think, let's get the party started. Can we give a round of applause to our beloved speakers, Mengxi and Ziqing. And we just also with our planning committee. Should we ask the so then if you are a fictional individuals, if you have a story in the book, we will love to have a group photos. So the audience, please come to the front. And then as mentioned, the museum will also remain open, and we just opened a new exhibition about Asian American periodicals. It's pretty well received, and it's your special gallery. Feel free to, have a drink, mingle, and then, make some new friends. And then we have a lot more programs. Please check it out on our website. Thank you so much for coming. Actually, I just said, we would like to take a selfie, just the Oscars. Yeah, thank you.